I was gonna say it looked like it was gonna be one of those tougher situations like we were talking about when with her evaluation with Rue, especially when they start barking and lunging, at her as well. So that's where, you'll want to really try to get her to not only just face away from that situation, but maybe start guiding her in the opposite direction so that way she doesn't get fixated and kind of pulled into that behavior.
Okay.
It sucks because it would have been a really good practice
Right?
session beforehand, but hopefully we'll run into some more pups on the way.
Okay.
We'll just kind of go for a little walk here. Do you have any of your treats with you or anything?
I do not.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you my bag then.
This morning.
It's okay. I would definitely recommend bringing something just so that way he can have something to reward her.
Pocketfuls.
Okay. There you go.
Oh,
You might need to adjust. I'll hold that for you.
Thanks.
Good girl.
Yeah,
yeah, just because it not only helps her to maintain focus, but then once she does do the right thing, it also help with marking the rewarding and also with maintaining focus.
Okay.
I don't know if you got a chance to watch that video last night, but like when we were walking back past the fence, and we knew that there was a dog there that was barking that was going to pull her in, so instead of trying to recover her attention using the treats and her focusing on me while we go through that situation.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes she'll need a little bit of help. Most of the time she'll be pretty good on her own. It just really depends on how intense the situation is.
Girl.
It's pretty momentum based kind of training too, so as long as you get some practice back in your neighborhood and at the pet stores periodically, it should be easier, other than going like maybe a week or two without seeing a dog and then there's one.
We live like 4 houses over the dog park, so she's
Oh, perfect.
ample opportunity to walk past some.
That's also another great place to practice too. Like in the video when we went to the dog park with the other reactive pup, just kind of walking towards it and getting ready to kind of redirect her as you see other dogs coming in and out.
Okay.
And because she's going to be more excited too, it's even better practice, because that's the main thing that you're really working on, is her controlling her excitement.
Okay.
And so like, especially after the first couple times when we went, she already started to get excited, like anticipating that we're going to be by there.
Yes, she knows. I don't know if she knows, but she knows if we're going by it or going to it.
Oh yeah. They're pretty smart. And if you want to, I'll hold the lead for you, so that way we can practice just her recall or her off leash. I probably should have gotten the actually, yeah, let's go get the long one out of my car, and then we'll be able to kind of do that when he can actually see a little bit better. It's good practice because she's like almost got the behavior down, and this way you can like learn the proper timings for recall.
Okay.
When you see a situation or when you know that she's about to break, things like that, and it gives her practice just coming back in, because most of the time on just her normal recall she's really good. So it's more like that impromptu, oh there's something, let me go check it out kind of practice, right?
Little ADD pal.
Not bad. Here, you can go ahead and unclip that one. Grab the other one. Turn on the front seat and back seat, back seat.
I think it's a big reach. What do you think?
Yeah.
Big ruby leash.
I'll just take that and I'll throw it on top of right here. And it's a couple different ways that you can do it. This is I think a 50-foot one.
Okay.
But they sell 20 and 30 feet. And then also what you can do too, I've done before with other pups, is like I'll wrap it around myself like a belt to control the length.
Okay.
You know? With her, I just kind of let it drag and then step on it. But those are all different ways and options that you can have, so that way you can practice off leash but still be safe, like in case a cat crosses your path or something random like that, right?
Right, pal. He walks past the house and she doesn't bark and keeps going. If she barks, it lays down in the road and just flips its tail.
Just waiting for her to come play with him. I feel like she probably would just play with the cat too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So here's your chance for recall.
Ruby.
Good.
Good girl, Booby. Good girl.
Good. Perfect. There you go. And what I'll even do, like at the PetSmart when we were desensitizing, is I'll suggest to her to go back and forth, right? So that way you're more in control of the scenario. Have her focus on you. Hey, look at that dog. Okay, back to me. Okay. Back to that dog. Now do whatever you want to do, so long as you don't move. If you move, you come back to me, right?
Okay.
So that way you take impromptu moments like that and you get to draw out the practice that you need.
Okay.
Like right now, for example, right? Good girl.
Girl.
This will be a decent amount. I don't think she'll be too far in traffic. The Freedom leash is also really good for this, but I find with a lot of parents, if you don't have practice, they end up getting rope burn because they try to catch the leash as it's like drawing out, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with something like this, it's a lot easier to teach them to just step on it. But definitely the Freedom leashes are more convenient to practice with.
I can see that.
Yeah. It's also harder to show on film too, because you can't tell when it's locked or when you're pressing or unpressing it. Whereas this, it's like very clear that she's pretty much free. Yes. So a couple different options for you. Okay. Very good. And then when she stops and checks back in on her own, that's going to be the time that you just mark it, right? Just reinforce that she just did the right thing. Good girl, good job. Bring her all the way back in if you wanted to for pets and a treat. Okay. But at least give that initial acknowledgement. Okay. So that way, if you need to reel her back in, you're already like halfway there. Okay. Right? Good. So she was just checking out the pup there. Perfect. And this is good because they're going to be coming back this way. So what I want to do is try to manipulate the lead so she can't get too far into the street or anything. The only other device that we ever used is the ultrasonic.
Okay.
The black button is the shorter training mode, and then the orange button is the stronger kind of correcting mode. Okay. So you can have that available in case she ignores your verbal recall. It's just something else that helps to get her attention. Okay. What I usually do in this situation is just kind of let them pass by and then see how much focus she has on either me or the pup, and then kind of go back and forth right between the two. Okay. And sometimes it helps to either start guiding her if she starts to fixate too much and starts to cry or seems like she's gonna break, or ask her to sit, stay, all that stuff. I usually have her follow me, but we did practice just sitting and staying still. It can be a little bit harder sometimes for pups, especially if they're either getting closer or, like I said, they're excited or jumping like that. Okay. So you have to kind of have to gauge the situation for each one on their own. Oh, that's a shame. So they're going back that way. That's fine. Oh, there you go. She's like, they're gone, Mom.
Good girl.
Good job. But I really try my best to not like peel her attention away unless necessary, because I really want her to kind of do what she's doing here. See the other dog, get used to him, and staying still on her own. Okay. Right? A lot of times we'll kind of over micromanage those situations, and so that is what kind of stifles their own development.
Okay.
Right?
Fair enough.
You just want to be there to help her out, but the expectation should be there now more that she should control herself,
Okay.
listen to you, redirect, not run off.
Good deal.
Yeah. She did really good for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, just the improvement in the videos is huge.
Her recall part didn't really need too much work, but I think being at the dog park where she was really excited playing around with friends and off leash really helped out as well. Said it's mostly just like practicing in those higher excitement states
Okay.
that really help. Oh, I know. Good. So she's kind of dying there, so I would go ahead and give her a treat or something, give her some praise, let her know she's doing good, kind of reinforce her sit, all that good stuff. And then have her check back in on you.
Ruby.
Okay. Right. And the reason why I said that was because I just noticed she was just fixating for a little bit too long while on her own.
Okay.
And so I kind of used that as a litmus test to see how involved she is, and or how likely she is going to break, but also to kind of preemptively get her attention before she does that.
Okay.
So all that is just practicing with her and just watching her, right? So you'll see, because she does a pretty good job of naturally checking in. As soon as she stops doing that, yeah, as soon as she
always
stops.
has.
Mhm.
Like, just look back.
But as soon as she stops doing that, that's when you need to be like,
Okay.
by the way, are you still with me? Right? That's all. Not bad. Had to help her out a little bit, but she responded well. Yes, and it's another one of those times when the pup was fixating too and barking, and so like when they lock eye contact with one another, you know, that's when it usually starts to kind of block out her world to everything else out.
Okay.
So just you just get a little bit of practice, and it's just kind of watching the situation. We've had plenty of walks when, you know, it's like an older pup or a smaller dog that, you know, she doesn't even notice. Right?
Yeah, she doesn't care about the 12 years old.
Yeah. A lot of it is just how the other dog is reacting, and that makes sense. Good. So another one of those times, right? As soon as she starts getting close to the street, either preparing yourself to step on the lead or preparing yourself to call her back, all those things. You just get used to, when you're working with her, just being preemptive and anticipating certain things.
Okay.
So for example, the lawn, oh good girl, I was gonna say the lawn past that part is gonna be one where they don't like dogs in their yard.
Okay.
So what I would do is have her focus on me as we walk through that section.
Okay.
Good. Good. And a good trick for that too is to either reach in and pretend to pick one up, or just hold your hand as if you had a treat in it and just pretend, and that'll help just kind of maintain her focus there. So long as she's focusing up at you and not the treat, then that's what you're searching for. But just using kind of those movements to help get her attention. And then after, like, we walk by there, then I would have her sit and I'd reach in and actually get a treat for her. So that way you're kind of luring, but at the same time you're not.
Yes. Okay.
And just little things to help get her attention. So go ahead and call her back in. Oh, there you go. Good girl.
Come on.
And right now the GPS tracker collar is on her roommate for obvious reasons. But that would be another good item in case like you did want to go hiking or to the beach or somewhere new. So that way you have the peace of mind of having a tracker on her. But
Okay.
the one that I use is good because it can also beep and vibrate too to help
Okay.
get her attention back. This is good for indoor use because some people work at home, like my girlfriend, and if like dogs are coming by or they see something out the window and they start barking or you need to get their attention, last thing you want to do when you're already on a call is scream.
yelling?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
done
stop,
that.
right? And so all she has to do here is press the button, and then
Okay.
she has like longer lasting treat chews next to her.
Okay.
Press the button, they come back, they get a chew. By the time they're done enjoying that, whatever commotion outside has been gone. So that
Okay.
works really well. And you can test that whenever you get the next opportunity. You got another yard coming up too that doesn't allow dogs in, so a little bit more practice in. What we'll do is cross and we'll go the other way around. Hopefully there'll be another pup or two. We're kind of in like midday-ish.
Right.
Um, Perfect. And then right afterwards, just have her sit for a treat.
Sit.
Good girl. Another thing you might want to speak to your vet about too is just increasing her food intake.
Does she think she needs more?
She just feels thin.
Yeah, she does.
Like you
Slightly.
can really feel the bones. We helped her out a little bit because of all the extra treats during training, and also I think it kind of counterbalanced it too a little bit because she also did a lot more miles
Yes.
and burned a lot more calories. But that's definitely something you might want to look into just from looking at the portion sizes. It's
Okay.
definitely looks smaller than usual for pups her size.
Okay. Definitely.
So that's just something, just talk to
We
your
got-
vet about.
This would be nice. I can't remember for all the.
And you have to also be mindful because some foods, like people will be used to giving like maybe 1.5 cups or something like that to their pup, but then switch brands of food and still give 1.5 cups. Some foods are more calorie dense than others, and some are less. So just be mindful of that too. Oh, it's definitely been dropped before. Luckily, it's a GoPro, so it holds up pretty well. I tried having it like just on like a chest mount or something so I can have both my hands, but then like you're trying to do this to get everything
Yes.
in frame the whole time. Oh,
Ruby.
there's the pup again.
Ruby.
Right. So now go ahead and use it.
Ruby.
There you go.
Good girl.
Good.
Sit.
Well, that's like I said, your contingency or backup. You can use that. I'll send you the link. But you can use that, or like I said, the beep or vibrate on the collar. She didn't need anything harsher than that, so we never tried the shock or anything like that. So
Vibrate for my labs. Once you put the collar on, that was it. Perfect today. You never even had to use it.
oh.
He hated to vibrate on his neck.
The way that I usually do it is kind of the same as the ultrasonic, is getting them to kind of recondition it to being a positive thing. Like they hear the beep and it means come in for dinner. The vibrate means come in for a treat,
Yes.
So like as soon as you start reprogramming it a little bit, it helps with some pups. And some pups are just more sensitive to it in general too. Okay. So it seems like he obviously wants to try to keep his dog's attention, and they might be working on it more. So you have two options there, usually moving further away to make it easier for both parties, or going by and maintaining focus. So why don't we try that since they're about to cross paths, and that'll also make it easier on him.
All right.
And try to just be mindful of, other people's situations, right? And you just kind of treat it just like the potty sign.
Ruby.
Perfect. Good. And now as they're passing, go ahead and have her sit stay. And then, you know, have her look at them, look at you, look at them. Kind of.
See the dog?
Good. Then have her look at you.
Ruby.
Good. There you go. So now you're like much more in control of the scenarios.
Yes.
It takes a little bit of like foreshadowing, but so long as you're not on your phone during your walks, you should be okay.
Right, pal?
And then let's just keep going up this way. We'll keep going around. Sometimes there's a bunny rabbit around this area too. Just a heads up. We never ran into one with her, but yeah, never know. Today might be the day.
We had one have babies in the backyard last year.
Oh.
That is
Go ahead and keep her from the street.
we had to go back out.
Oh, she's good. She came back in.
Oh, sorry, pal. We had to go back to take her out.
Oh.
I was like, oh, just one. Give me just one. Just one.
You're good. Okay, you might want to call her back in.
Ruby,
There you go. Good.
girl.
Also hearing the car coming up too, right? So like in last video, not only just seeing, but around corners, just using your ears. You can kind of preemptively know when things are coming by.
Okay.
When you're on a normal leash, it won't matter as much.
Ruby.
But the reason why you want to practice without leash pressure most of the time is because when we do have leash pressure, most of us just like fall back to it all the time.
Uh-huh.
And what you really need to develop for her is falling back without physical sensations.
Okay.
Right? I would say it can be a little bit hazardous depending on how busy your streets are and things like that. So you can always practice in parks and stuff like that. Usually a lot safer. But this is good, like real world kind of practice. There we go. She's like, what was that? No, and then we'll just keep going back down. Not bad, we ran into a few pups so far. There's a person there too. Usually if it's just a person, what I'll do is I'll pull her over to the side and have her sit and stay and focus on me.
Okay.
If they want to say hi, just release her to greet and just make sure she doesn't look too excited. She's been really good about not jumping on strangers too. We're not at the dog park, but you know, that's usually the way that I'll know is just how excited her body language is, right? Like here, she's already getting pretty excited. The tail starts going, the butt starts wiggling, all that stuff. So all we're doing is we're curbing her excitement by getting her to refixate back onto us and not just on the person. Same with the dog.
Ruby.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
So with people, you almost do the same thing, but like less of letting her do whatever she wants. Just because people can be allergic to dogs, people can be scared of dogs, all that stuff. Oh, that's crazy.
They
She's so
come in
nice.
the backyard, and she's just used to my kids. So we're like, yes, let's kick the ball, let's run, let's run. And then they pick the ball up and
Oh.
they great Kelly pups. Come on.
Very good. And I'll just reward that periodically too. Always want to at least acknowledge, every now and then reward, especially for the first couple weeks after she gets back home from training.
Okay.
And then depending on how well she's doing and how much you need to ask for her attention, that's when you would start leading off.
Okay.
Even with like my old ladies that are like 10, I'll still have my treat bag usually on me anyways. And every now and then I'll just give them a treat for paying attention or checking in. And it just helps with solidifying those behaviors. Because we want her to try to get into the habit of just continuously checking in, especially as she ages. Usually it gets easier for pups, but sometimes, especially during the terrible twos, you know, they start to become more independent. Oh, there we go. And just like with kids and dogs, and during those teenage years, they lose that maternal bond and they start wanting to just take precedence of exploring and, you know, all that stuff over listening. I don't think she'll have that problem. She's like about 2 anyways, right?
Yeah, she's 2 and a half-ish.
Yeah, she seems like a pretty good family demeanor dog anyways, but it's good to just maintain as opposed to trying to recover, you know, from losing it or something.
Okay.
And a lot of times we stop training things because, you know, they're doing well and we kind of take it for granted, and then you overlook it for so long that it starts regressing without you even noticing, and then when you need it, it's not there anymore. I've had that happen before.
Ruby.
Good rule of thumb that I'll usually use is I'll actually count how many times I have to redirect her.
Okay.
And if I start getting to too high of a number, like if I have to keep calling her back 3 to 5 times, then maybe on the 3rd time, the next go round, I'll give her a treat.
Okay.
And then when she checks back in on her own, I'll just reward her, you know, to kind of reestablish we want her to check in instead of us always constantly calling her.
Okay.
That was the leash pressure. So you could always use either the device or can call her before she gets to the end of the lead.
Okay. Ruby. Ruby. Ruby.
Good. And then go ahead and releasing her to go and smell whatever was, you know, had her attention so hard. Give her plenty of time to sniff on her own, and then see if she checks back in, and then when she does, go ahead and reward that right away. All right, lots of smells on these grasses. Very good. Very good. There you go. Good. All right, so you kind of see how she starts to kind of check back in anticipation of a treat or something now, right?
Yes.
And that's what you want to kind of maintain.
Okay.
You know, we don't always have to give her one, but we at least want her to like want one.
Yes.
If it happens so many times that we call her back and then she doesn't get anything, then that's where a lot of pups will start just not coming back then. It's like, why would I leave this smell that I'm investigating if I'm not going to get anything out of it? You know? Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important to at least give them that acknowledgement, right?
Ruby. Ruby.
She might have to go potty. Good job. Right by the station.
Right.
That way, instead of a treat, you can, you know, play fetch her with a stick or something and have her kind of toss it around while you're out in like an open field area. Kind of give her a little bit of a play break. And then also, after you've kind of built that excitement with it, use it to maintain focus again.
Okay.
So it kind of acts just like as if you were having treats. Pretty much you just want to have something on you that can help get her attention.
Okay.
That's all. Whether it be something like that physical sensation or the auditory. Okay.
Come on. Ruby.
And then making yourself
Go ahead.
exciting and engaging too will help too. Like if you're having some troubles where she started to check out more.
Okay.
When you get her attention back in, having her kind of follow you and playing a game of chase or tag
Okay.
really helps with re-engagement, because now you're more exciting. That's all. Instead of just like a bland like recall command, you just kind of turn it into like a game or an invitation to play. And just that simple mindset alone is something that, if it's genuine, of course they can pick up on it.
Okay.
Go ahead and try it now.
Ruby, come on. Ruby, let's go. Come
Okay. And now this time, before, instead of just letting her check out, go ahead and have her follow you excitedly.
Okay, Ruby, come on. Let's go.
Good, there you go. Very good. It's always gonna be hard because she naturally walks faster, like most dogs do,
Yeah.
than people. So that's where having the shorter leash comes in, to kind of create those temporary boundaries for us when she hits the end of it.
Good girl. Ruby.
Good.
Feet. Feet.
Here, I'll take this again for you. Yeah, any questions on anything? Her training was pretty straightforward for the most part. She was really good. She was like playing with the other pups. Yeah, so that was part of the problem, but just kind of getting her to build up a little bit more discipline and a little bit of desensitizing her to seeing dogs every day
Yes.
kind of helps. Go ahead and call her back in.
Come on.
Good girl.
Good girl, Ruby.
Very good. There you go.
We are strongly considering getting another one on Saturday.
It would definitely be great for her. She would definitely be a pup that would do well with a sibling.
So much.
And just help with the energy level and her boredom at home, things like that. So usually at crosswalks, I always stop her and have her sit and focus first, so that way she just doesn't cross while on her own.
Ruby, sit.
There you go. And then we can just turn her right here.
This way, puppy. Ruby. Ruby, do. Ruby. Come on.
Smells. There you go.
Did it smell good? Come on.
Also, the higher value of treats, the more fixated she'll be on you, too. So, low sodium deli meats, turkey, hot dogs, things like that. We didn't need, but would definitely help in more distracting environments, right? It's more distracted by the smell than the dog. Good. Perfect. There you go.
Ruby.
Perfect.
Good girl.
And there's somebody over there. Good. You'll want to definitely keep control of her in this situation because the lady there walking her dog has a bad knee, and so if her dog gets excited and starts pulling, she will be very upset. And this is where just, you know, practicing constantly in your neighborhood, meeting other dogs and pet parents really helps the situation too, because you automatically know, like, oh, that dog's gonna bark. Oh, that's an old dog. He's gonna completely ignore her. All those things. And it doesn't usually take too much time to build up.
Ruby. Good girl. That's a good girl.
Alright. So I'll go get her harness. And did you have a black leash with the pink handles?
Yes.
Okay. You can just lead her to your car. That way you can unhook her once we get there.
Ruby doos.
She's pretty safe in this court, so.
What do you think? Ruby. Good girl. I know. Like you gone. Look at your kids. Whoop. Sorry.
At least she's responding to the leash pressure.
Yeah. So our harness is better for puppies because their neck is still whatever, or
It just depends on the pup, because like I'll usually use it on dogs that are learning to not pull, especially if they have more body weight, so that way they don't injure themselves. And sometimes for puppies too, so it's not uncomfortable while they're learning. With her, you have the option of either or. The main thing is to just get them used to understanding the leash pressure and how to respond to it. Which, you know, we can actually, if you still have time, we can run through real quick as well. The main thing here is you'll want to focus on guidance and using the leash as the boundaries. That way when it triggers, it should let her know that she's gone the wrong way and to redirect her attention back to you. And you can go ahead and put on her shorter leash. Good girl. I know. She pretty much aces this, but this is also what we use too for the off-leash practice as well.
okay.
We'll kind of run through a little bit of everything. So I'll do it the first time for you. If you want to give me just one treat. Before, with other pups, like with her roommate right now, I'm kind of offering praise and treat every single time, but she's good enough that she can do it at the end of the course. It just kind of depends on you. But what I'm looking for is to just make sure she goes where I want her to go, girl. Whether it's in between the cones, to the right of the cone, right? Good girl, this way. To the left of the cone. Stopping in between. Very good. And going up to the next one. Go up, around, through. Yes. Okay, this way. Okay. Very good. Good. So you can kind of see she's gotten to the point. Yes, there we go. Good. And she almost doesn't need that leash pressure anymore. I was just using you kind of to get her attention right, so she overshoots. But it's just that moment when she does overshoot, she feels that tension, and then she needs to redirect. You have two different things that you can do here. Good girl. You can call her name, or you can continue walking. The benefit of continuing to walk is that, especially here, right, it gives her that directional leash guidance. Because the leash is pulling her, like I want her to go that way around it, right? I want her to go in between, and then I want her to go back. Right? So I'm not dragging her, but I'm just applying enough force, and then I'm releasing force when she starts going the right way. So it's very like directed leash pressure. And when she starts hard pulling, forward, I just hold until she gives up, checks what's going on, and then comes back. Right here. Yes, good girl. And when she checks back, give her that affirmation, and then show her where to go. All right. And so she's really good at it now, so you might not get to practice too much. Good. See there? So that's why you have to also be paying attention to what she's doing too, so that way you will know when she recovers herself. Right there. Good. Good. There you go. Good. Perfect. And then to make things a little bit more difficult, having just barely enough space to squeeze in between. So that way she doesn't go around unless you want her to go around. So sometimes faking out as if you're gonna go in between and then going around. Right there, good. Perfect. Good, there you go. Okay. So now you've learned how to kind of macro control the leash pressure by only using it whenever you really needed to micro controlling the leash pressure, giving little adjustments, and then having her kind of guide and follow you with it, right? That's where that kind of harness comes into play, the Easy Walk, because it's designed to pull them left and right. So that's where, like, if you were right here right now and you wanted to go that way, it would help you pull that way.
Okay.
If she started to go out too far, it would automatically correct because the tension would be directed this way.
Okay.
So you just have to kind of keep that in mind when you're working with it, that you want to try to stay either promoting left or right.
Okay.
And then usually, depending on which side that you keep her, or if you're alternating sides, you usually use your inside leg to help guide her that direction. Yes, just go ahead and kind of do a U and you'll see what I mean. Right? Whereas if you're going left, then you would use the leash. So easy practice for that is just doing figure eights and then doing a reverse figure eight. Right? She's like, what are we doing? Good girl. Perfect. Good. And then the last bit for what we would do, I would usually swap to the orange leash, but you can just go ahead and take her off that leash and do the same exercise. Now you might have to micromanage more with, commands and or holding attention with treats, rewarding more often or something. But the main thing is to kind of maintain that focus and also recover without leash pressure. So this way when you separate the exercises like this, you know what exactly you're working on each time.
Come on.
And this is good because you learn to micro control her too. Good. Good, there you go. Perfect. And the last little bit is asking her to sit, stay, and then moving any direction and then calling her to you. And that just helps with stability. All right. You have any questions on anything? We usually did this kind of exercise 3 times a day. Once in the morning after the potty walk, once before lunch, and then once after the last call at night potty walk, and then 2 longer sessions midday, mid-morning and mid-afternoon, either the social session at the dog park with recall or the off-leash or the neighborhood walk trying to find the pups or going to a pet store.
Okay.
Of course, you know, don't expect most people to kind of keep up that kind of workload, but at least something like this every now and then is great because you can, you know, literally do it in 5 or 10 minutes. We usually did like a couple sets, but even if you just did 1 set every now and then would be good. And then things like recall at the dog park.
Okay.
Any questions or anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's great.
Good girl. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, my pleasure. She was great to have over. And then, of course, you'll have your follow-up session if you wanted one.
Okay.
Usually, like, you know, give her a week to settle in, make sure that she's doing everything here, back at home in your neighborhood. And if, you know, your dogs are more uppity over around there, or she might be more excited in general, then you can let me know and we can try to do a session there as well for you.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.